Hey y'all, welcome to my kitchen, and yeah, this week we're making one of my favorite recipes, especially during the fall time of year. As we all know, that's a great time to make soups, and I'm just going to tell you, this soup is one of the best tasting, but not only that, one of the most nutritious and one of the most healing soups that you could ever eat. I've actually made this soup for people who have been really sick, you know, with whatever kind of cold or flu symptoms or whatever they've had during the winter, and it's literally within days knocked it out. And it's because there's a lot of really potent, delicious ingredients in here, and a lot of ingredients in here that are very healing for the body. So actually, the two ingredients that I would say that probably have the most to do with that are actually already in here. I've already got about 7 or 8 garlic cloves that have been chopped and minced in here. I've also got probably about a 1/4 cup of ginger that's already in here, and a small diced organic onion. So all of that's already in here. I've already pre-boiled my chicken. Got that sitting over here. That's about 3 cups worth of chicken. I boiled that in here. I added some chicken bone broth to this as well while the chicken was boiling. So this is my stock. Okay, that's what I'm starting with. And again, I've got the garlic and ginger already in here. The garlic and the ginger have great anti-bad bacterial properties. Very good for the digestive system. And if you've watched any of my videos before, that's one of the things I always focus on, right? Is that heal your digestive system, heal your body. Well, it's no different than when you have a cold or a flu. If you'll start focusing on your digestive system, and garlic and ginger are two of the best things that you can do for that. And especially even if you're having nausea symptoms, the amount of ginger that's in here will really help you with that. The other things are the red bell pepper is probably the food that has the highest amount of vitamin C than any other food. So this is some actual farmer's market red organic pepper. This is some yellow. This also has a lot of healing properties in it. Your different colored foods, as you can see here, the more different colored foods that you can put into your meals, the more nutritious that they're going to be. And the more benefit you're going to get from them. So try to use as many colors as you possibly can when you're making a dish, and not only will it add a lot of flavor, but you're also getting a lot of different health properties when you do that. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is going to be a short video as far as me making the soup today. But yeah, just wanted to tell you guys this is a delicious fall soup that'll be really good for healing. All right. The other thing that I have, the other ingredient I wanted to mention is I have organic curry powder. Okay, so there's turmeric in here, which is very healing. There's a lot of other really good properties in curry powder. So I'm going to add some of this as well, and black pepper as well as a spice, and then some crushed red pepper. And then I've got some real salt. This is a salt brand that actually comes from Utah. So this is America's version of Himalayan pink salt. And if you've read any or listened to any other of my stuff, if you can buy American, and then the more local that you can get with the stuff that you're buying, like I said, my mom got this at a local farmer's market, the more nutritious it's going to be. So even sometimes more than organic, local is a better choice from a local farmer, because most local farmers, if they're not doing big agro, they don't use a lot of pesticides and things like that. And you can ask them what kind of pesticides they use, if they use any at all. But I would definitely recommend, and this is my version of salt that I prefer. And you can order this on Amazon, or you can pick it up at Kroger. We don't have a Kroger locally, but Mom was in Macon and she picked some up, so I really love this salt. So I'm going to go ahead and add, and again, I'm not real big on measuring, but I'm going to go ahead and add about a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to add about a tablespoon. I'm using my hand to measure here. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do about 2 tablespoons. I like a lot of flavor in my soup. So about 2 tablespoons of curry powder. About a teaspoon of fresh crushed pepper. A little bit more pepper. And actually the pepper is going to help the turmeric and the other spices that are in the curry powder, which turmeric has a lot of anti-inflammatory properties, are going to actually help those absorb into your system and create that good result of the anti-inflammatory and the healing properties. So I'm going to add probably about half a teaspoon of the crushed cayenne pepper. Let me grab me a spoon here. We'll stir that in. I'm telling y'all, this is going to be absolutely delicious. So that ginger's had time to, the ginger and garlic have had time to release their oils, which is where a lot of the healing properties are. That's why I put those in there first. And the onion as well. The onion's really good for your digestive system. The inulin is a really good prebiotic fiber. So again, if you're feeling sick, focus on your digestive system. That's one of the main things you can focus on, is try to give your digestive system as much healthy fiber. About lost my camera woman there. Yeah, one of these days we're gonna make enough money with this deal we can hire our own camera crew so we don't break our neck while we're trying to film. Okay. Oh, we needed that, Mom. I needed that because Mom and I, we kind of get into it sometimes in the kitchen. And what frustrates me the most is I'm the same way. It's so hard for me to watch somebody else cook and not say anything, because if you're a good cook, you've learned how to do it a certain way, and you know you're a good cook because everything that you make people like. And so it's hard when you see somebody else, even if you know they're a good cook. And I know my mom knows that I'm a good cook. She's had my food. She loves it. But she'll watch me do something, and it's like I've never been in the kitchen before. It's like I've never touched a knife, never cut an onion. It's she's like, "What are you doing?" Anyway, so all right. So the next thing I'm going to add here is the bell pepper. The red pepper. That's just diced. And the other thing I have that really makes this a really good tasting fall soup is I have about 2 cups of fresh chopped butternut squash, okay? So I'm going to add that as well. And I'm actually going to turn my heat up on this soup a little bit to bring it back to a boil. About 2 cups of butternut squash. Okay, and I've got some organic kale here as well. Add that. It's probably about, I don't know, 4 cups of uncooked kale. Actually, I'm going to add a little bit more. Yeah, it shrinks. Your kale is gonna, as it cooks, it's gonna shrink up. I'm actually gonna add a little more kale. As you can tell, this ain't professional, and we don't try to make it look professional, because guess what? You ain't a professional, and that's fine. That's one thing we really want to coach people on. Is like, you don't have to be a professional, amazing cook, even though I think I am, but you don't have to. It doesn't have to be all formal. You can add and subtract as many spices as you want, and guess what? If you mess it up, you really can't mess it up that bad if you start with good ingredients. I want to encourage you with that.
Too much salt will mess it up.
I'll tell you this. I don't think I've ever oversalted something. I mean, seriously, I don't think I ever have. And especially if you're using the right kind of salt. Like if you're using real salt, I've just never. And if you do oversalt it, you can add some water, and it'll take the saltiness out a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna stir this up. I'm telling you guys, and of course kale. I don't even have to go into kale. I will though, and just tell you that kale is in the green family. It's king. I mean, you cannot get more healthy than kale. And this is some really good kale. And actually kale, and that's the thing too, guys. You know, a lot of these foods that I'm making right now are seasonal foods. Like kale is a winter green, so it's actually best eaten this time of year. Butternut squash, the same thing. Eat foods that are seasonal. I mean, I eat some foods that aren't seasonal, like blueberries and things like that. But most of the foods that I try to eat when they're seasonal. Like in the summer, I try to eat strawberries, you know, and peaches and things like that, and summer vegetables like squash and things like that. But like butternut squash is a fall vegetable, and a lot of squashes are coming into season now. So so be sure and do that. Be sure to eat seasonally if possible. All right, so I'm gonna add my organic coconut cream here. And we got this from Trader Joe's in Athens, but you can find it most places locally.
That's going to be rich.
Yes, it is. It's going to be rich and delicious.
Okay, put that chicken in there and let's go.
Okay. Add this other coconut cream. And if you don't like coconut, you can use heavy whipping cream. Organic heavy whipping cream will be delicious as well. But I'm just telling you, you should try the coconut at least once. Once it cooks down, the coconut flavor is really mild, but it's rich and creamy. I'm telling you, it's delicious.
Okay, so how long will it take to prepare that, Matt?
All together, like boiling the chicken and everything, chopping the vegetables, I would say an hour. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the chicken now, and I'm gonna let this simmer for, I'm gonna let it simmer for about probably 20 minutes on lower heat, like on 3, which is the setting I've got it on right now.
Okay, we're good.
All right, and that's it. So I'm gonna put the lid on, let it simmer for about 20 minutes. Actually, I'm gonna turn it to about 2. Let that simmer, and it'll be ready to go. Thanks for joining.